will be talking about work that inABLE and Google are doing together to advance accessibility for Kenyan students with disabilities. I'll be moderating the session. My name is Sara Basson. I work at Google and I lead the initiative to drive accessibility into emerging markets such as Africa. This is my third visit to Africa and to Kenya, and it truly does feel like a second home. So thank you for welcoming us so graciously. It's my privilege to moderate this panel, which has some of the ongoing work between inABLE and Google towards advancing accessibility. As we've heard, the inABLE NGO started several years ago with the goal of improving the education of children who are blind or visually impaired by providing digital accessibility. And inABLE has worked tirelessly to get computers to train these kids on the assistive technologies that they'll need to succeed in life. And as you've heard in the introductory remarks, that the mission, the scope, and the success has been growing year over year. And Google, as I'm sure many of you, has been inspired by inABLE and their initiative in schools for the blind. And in 2023, Google was delighted to be able to provide several hundred Chromebook computers for these kids. Then with that, it's my supreme honor to introduce you to the teachers on this panel who are driving this important work. There are currently 4 schools for the blind that are participating in the program. We will hear from teachers and organizers from some of those schools, and they are Valarie, Olesia, from inABLE and at Tika School for the Blind. They are Christine Kayati, Tika School for the Blind, and Anthony Ndirangu of inABLE. How's my accent? I just call this my second home, so I better do a good job. Asante sana. And Elizabeth Ngari, Madam Elizabeth, who is at the Likoni School for the Blind, and they will also give short introductions of themselves as the panel begins. So I'm going to share questions with each member of the panel, and I ask each of the panelists to share a few words about yourselves as introduction, a little bit of more background about what you're doing before you answer the questions. So I'll start with Anthony. We are so grateful for all that you're doing across multiple schools to train instructors for success. And as the overall coordinator of this program, can you share what you consider to be the biggest wins and the biggest challenges?
Oh, thank you, Sara. My name is Anthony Ndirangu. I'm the person in charge of computer programs or program manager at inABLE. And I must say that I have been doing this for the longest time, more than 7 years. And it has been an amazing journey, very interesting one, at times challenging. But we have a lot that we can talk about, the success stories. In a nutshell, we have been doing this, our training students from their tender ages, very young, through the primary school and through high school also, and even in some higher learning institutions. Computer programming schools has enabled learners to gain independence on matters to do with computers. They are able to interact with computers. They are able to do the basic tasks. They can take notes. They can browse. They can do a lot of, they can research and so on and so forth. That is for students. Also, this program has enabled the teachers and students to use ICT tools in their classwork. We have seen teachers apply the ICT. Here in Kenya, we have the new curriculum that is a CBC, competency-based curriculum, that treats ICT as a major or main mode of delivery. We have also seen our students gain employable skills. I'm happy to report to you that when we started this program, most of our trainers, all of them, were sighted. And as we speak right now, those who have gone through our program, currently, all trainers, all computer instructors in this country who are running this project, this program, they 65.5% are persons with visual impairment. That is an achievement, and oh yes. So that's one of the things that we are proud of. We have been having challenges, of course. The major challenge is the lack of enough accessible learning materials, e-materials, that is. So you can have very powerful, accessible tools, computers, best softwares and everything, but if you don't have accessible content in the right format, there's a challenge. So at times you get a very good book that you want to share with your students, but you find that some of them are not accessible. That is one of the challenges, so we need to standardize the production. And finally, the sustainability has also been challenging to some extent. You know, the hardware, the software, the manpower, and so on and so forth. And during COVID, after COVID, COVID-19, we have been having challenges in recovering the lost time. So you get that we get limited time on matters to do with the contact between the trainers and the students. That's it in a nutshell. Thank you.
Thank you, Anthony. And now to Valarie again, if you could add a couple of sentences of introduction. And as an instructor at Tika's school, what are some changes you've seen across other teachers as a result of this program? Valarie.
Thank you very much. As you've heard, my name is Valarie Olesia. I'm an assistive technology computer instructor with inABLE Africa based in Thika. I am visually impaired, so today I'm in a hot pink three-piece, let me call it trouser and top, and black shoes with dark purple braids. So I'm delighted to be here, the 5th Annual Inclusive African Conference. It's been a moment, we could not wait for this, and now we are here. So as we preach accessibility, as enable inclusivity and digital literacy at our program, we train teachers, we train learners on accessibility, and as Sara has mentioned, we are using Chromebooks as provided by Google to ensure that our learners are able to have accessibility even in their classroom. It is very amazing to see a visually impaired learner using a computer independently or with very minimal assistance, and they are able to take notes, they are able to research on themselves, and they are able to even communicate using email and Google Classroom. So across teachers at Thika School for the Blind, we are bringing it up to ensure that teachers are able to get the content and share with their learners in class using Google Classroom. So we are enabling the teachers to independently have swift learning classroom using the Chromebooks in the class. So the teachers are also having a good moment, enjoying the technology, having to learn new things, relearn and also unlearn. So they are enjoying using the Chromebooks to bring the content to the learners in the classroom. We foster this to promote inclusivity in the education sector so that across the learning institutions, students with visual impairment are not left behind trying to achieve the goal that any other person without impairment can achieve. So across teachers, it has been one of the biggest achievements, ensuring that they have independence in using technology. They can communicate, ranging from personal conversations to corporate conversations. They can communicate on their own independently. They can also fit in the education sector, as we also are achieving the Sustainable Development Goal number 4 of inclusive education. We are able to put in this student with visual impairment or this person with visual impairment to ensure that as they even transit to the institutions of higher learning, they have an upper hand to thrive in that sector. Myself, I am a graduate of Kenyatta University, and I can tell you for sure it was not easy without inABLE having to help me through assistive technology for me to be able to perform very well in my academics. So it has been very, very overwhelming to see people like me are also going through the journey I've been going through, and they are doing very well. As we mentioned that we've also launched a program with university students who are taking law, and it is very encouraging for a person who is taking such a, let me call it a hard course, to be able to maneuver very well using assistive technology. So it has been very interesting, and I've been part of the team that has been training these learners with visual impairment using the assistive technology to be able to thrive in the education sector. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Valarie. Christine, well, when you see the video, you will know that she has a compelling film performance in that video. And as a language teacher at Tika School, what changes have you seen in the children over the course of this year? And how they're able to learn, how enthusiastic they are to learn, and so on.
So, I am Christine. Hello, everyone. I am Christine Kayathi, a teacher at Tika School for the Blind. That is, I am teaching there. And okay, before I begin, I got my first laptop from inABLE, that is from Irene, on the onset of the program. That is when it was very young. So, thank you, Irene. Thank you, inABLE. Now, back to the classroom and the children and the digital world. Now, what changes? I have seen great changes in the children. How? These children are able these days to go and check on the word, right pronunciation. I like English. Quite. So, they are able to go and check out for the word. And then, when we learn about a word, now, the elder children are a bit cheeky. We have words that we call homophones. That is, same pronunciation, different spelling. A word like F-L-O-U-R. Which word is this? One person. One person. I can't hear. One person, just one. One person. It's a word that even in our media, F-L-O-U-R. Fla? Very good. Kudos. Good. Now, most of the people were taught it is called FLA. So what do? We have elder children, that is in grade 6. They learned it from grade 1. We call this one a packet of FLA. So when I tell them, no, we don't say a packet of FLA, we say a packet of flour and a bouquet or a bunch of flower. They are like, hapana mwalimu. So what do? We go back to Valarie's room, that is at the lab. And what do? We get the word document, we type the word. What do? We spell that word character by character, and then they read out the word. So it is saying flower. So you see, a great change. That is in grade 6, 7. So you have to change them using that digital gadget. So that is the they have changed. And so many other words. So when it comes to pronunciation, they change. They have really changed. 2, these kids are able to go and do what? Exercises on their own from any search engine, or any platform that they get. They get exercises, and then, Malim, let us do this one. So they open Word document, they go back, read questions, and they do it for me. Maybe adjectives or, I don't know, quantifiers. You've learned English. So that is the change.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Thank you, Christine.
Yeah.
And now our final panelist is Madam Elizabeth. And again, please share a couple of sentences of introduction. It's an honor to have you here with us. We were privileged to be able to see your school, the Lokoni School for the Blind in Mombasa, just a few days back. As the headmistress of Lokoni School, what changes have you noticed in students' learnings and behaviors, and what would you like to see next?
Thank you very much. She has already said my name, but I'll say it again. My name is Elizabeth Ngare, and I'm the proud mother of these children that are seeing a different world in a very special way. The learners feel quite motivated because we are now out of the normal pedagogical method of blackboard and chalk and marking. The learners now have a different method, and that is using computers for learning. And actually, this one has impacted their performance a lot. Last year, when we were winding up the 844 system, my school, being a special school, was the most improved school in the region with 91 marks. Because my children no longer just stick to the blackboard. They have got something different to talk about in life and a different method of research. Yeah, it is very hard to peruse books here and there, but it is very enjoyable to go to the desktops and get this exciting moment of interjections of an advertisement, this and that. You know, that's a very interesting method of reading because the 35 minutes we have in class don't have an advertisement in between or anything to make the child feel it's exciting. But I must say that the method that has been enabled by inABLE is a very, very, very fantastic method to the learners. And learning has also been made practical, enjoyable, and independent. Traditionally, the learners who are visually impaired could not be independent. But having the talking laptops and Chrome tablets makes them quite independent, and they can access any information they want on their own. And this makes it quite exciting, and that makes learning interesting. I must also say that it has provided equity and equality. When people are talking about laptops, there's a parent who confessed to me that, last term, our grade 5 class, the whole class, we did our assessment using Chrome tablets, the Chromebook. And the Chromebook uses the internet, and you're using your email address. So there's this parent who came to school to ask me which miracle we are using, because her children in the regular schools cannot do that, and this learner in a special school could do that. And we did wholesomely, and the teachers were excited, and this was really good to get such a feedback from a parent. And that means we are even beyond equity and equality that we have been struggling for. We are ahead of a number of even the regular schools. The limited games that the visually impaired learners have. We have very limited games. You are restricted to goal ball, showdown, and a little touching here and there. But these learners, especially the lower cadre learners, have several games that they enjoy on the internet, courtesy of inABLE. That has brought the world to them. They are not finding anything different. The world is very much near them. And as we have heard from Anthony, employment
Recording in
has
progress.
been provided to them. I am among the beneficiaries of people who have produced the instructors for inABLE, and they are inside here. I feel so great that I saw them joining the school as very young children, and right now they are seated here like instructors. It feels so good to have children who have progressed, isn't it? Yeah. So my babies are inside here. That means they give the rest great motivation. So everybody tells me they are working so hard because they know that one day they may also be instructors. And that's why I really support the issue of making the whole farm and company wider and wider, because we shall provide workers to you that you have empowered with the skill. On to my next question, maybe the behavior. The behavior of my learners has totally changed. One, they are so committed, they are so busy. They struggle to finish their work. There's a lot of speed in the institution because we fixed computer on our normal timetable. And therefore, the speed has to move on very fast. And if there is a classroom everybody longs to go to, it is the lab. You'll find the lower grades chasing the senior. It's our time. It's so good to know that such age can struggle for that. And apart from that, these learners are more disciplined. The computer lab is our yardstick. You are indisciplined, you don't step in that lab for 1 week. Who'd wish to miss those games? Who'd wish to miss research? Who'd wish to stay in that silent room? So we have used it as the stick in the school. We don't even have discipline issues because everybody wants to go to the computer lab. Their social time has also been really well used because our Saturdays and Sundays are weekends, and that's the time we give these children to have their leisure time, maybe playing here and there, but our games are hardly in the field. Everybody wants to come to the computer lab. We even had to schedule lessons for Saturday because they were scrambling and they all want to come there. What does that mean? That means that whatever has been taught has really sunk in them. And they are also proud to go with time. You know, right now everybody is talking about computer. So my children are within time. Sorry, I'm so used to calling them children because they are my babies. They are so much within time. So when people are getting proud of this and that, they are within the topic. They are not left behind the topic socially. inABLE has enabled them to fit socially like gloves in the outside world. Maybe I'll talk about the teachers. Before the desktops and the Chromebooks were brought to the school, I have quite a big number of totally blind teachers. They were so computer phobia. Everything could be done to them in the cyber, and our employer requires that you feel what is called TPAD. And everybody is supposed to feel it personally. And it was so hard for them. And you know, it is also very hard to give your personal information to somebody in the cyber. But nowadays, I must tell you that if there are teachers who love staying in that lab, it's those teachers. And I must appreciate inABLE because every teacher in the school has his own Chromebook. Every teacher has that. Quite a number of learners have the same, and therefore it's making the journey even better. We started with the desktops. Right now we are having the Chromebooks, and definitely we are moving ahead and ahead. The teachers have also found teaching easy. You know, if you're used to chalk and blackboard, and then right now you no longer use that. And apart from that, the teachers used to wear white jackets because of the chalk. Hardly do you find them in them nowadays. Because, and you know Mombasa is hot, but you see, you'd rather not go home with chalk on your body and have your jacket. But right now, most of the lessons are in the lab. So we must say that even on that, they really feel it's appreciated. They access a lot of information, more than what they would have accessed. You know, when you're using, when you're digitalizing your learning, you don't just get what is in the syllabus, you get even what is outside. So, and when you get what is outside, it enhances the learning in the institution. So the teachers are quite good with that. When it comes to assessment, I must confess that it was very hard to do topical assessments, strand assessments. This is because braille papers, braille-ons are quite expensive, and we could not afford that for every topic. But right now, the teachers can easily do assessments for topical, for the topics, and anything you teach, you can just access it, even one lesson, because as long as there is internet, then that one is very well done. Lesson preparation is also quite easy for the teachers. They are preparing their lessons with a lot of ease because it's not quick to write down using braille machine compared to just getting onto the internet and doing that. And to me as an administrator, everything has been made easy because I do everything, check everything using the Chromebooks that we have been given. So I really appreciate that. And next, what do we expect? We hope that the whole school is now going to be paper-free. As I've said, it is quite expensive, but with time, when we get paper-free, we are no longer going to be worried, and results are going even to be better. We shall only have braille classes for the beginners. We also hope that every other student in the school, so that because it's some of them who have the Chromebooks, we hope that every other student is going to be equipped with these skills and the Chromebooks, and at the end of the day, my school at the gate will be written, "We don't deal with papers." Yeah, we only deal with Chrome, and it can be called Chrome School. I say, thank you so much for making me have such big dreams, because dreams are valid. I appreciate everything.
I'll just make a few closing remarks, and then I hope they'll be able to queue up the video successfully. So our time is short, and I hope you were all as inspired with the work at inABLE as we all are, and as joyful as our teachers and administrators are. I just also want to point out that Google is not alone in driving these initiatives to bring digital accessibility to schools in Kenya. Microsoft has made significant donations to the schools for the computer labs. Apple, as you've heard earlier, has also donated computers for the School of Law, and there are NGOs as well, like Benetech, that are making technology available. So this is definitely a large and collaborative effort. The biggest point that I want to make here, though, is that we want to ensure that kids with disabilities across Kenya and across Africa overall will have access to technologies that improve their learning outcomes and their digital skills. We want this to become pervasive, and that's not going to be Google alone by any means. We need participation of corporations, of NGOs, of government entities, of ministries of education. What we've done so far is a promising pilot and a proof point, and you've now heard the value of this, but it's on all of us to make sure that we're able to get these efforts to scale across multiple disability types and multiple African countries. So that's my call to action for everyone here.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You have a mic.
No, I didn't answer a question which is very important. That is about how enthusiastic are my children. Now, apart from being blind, we have some children that have other challenges. Nerves, they are unable to read with the fingers. So when others are when others are given the laptops, the Chromebooks, fidgeting with the keyboard, doing their own things, the others are unable. But then, there is something that we call enable dictation. Yes. So what do? Speak, and then the thing does its work. So they are able to use the gadgets just like any other person. Now, you should see them when it is computer time. They can knock you along the corridors. Yeah, so we are very careful. You go shouting, where? So, because you'll be knocked. So you can see how interested they are. Now, as Sara and the rest of the people, Madam Elizabeth, have said, what have we to do? Let us not only think about just handling them at the primary or secondary level, and I'm very happy for the Microsoft, you've taken up the university, that is law. So we call upon, if Irene and the group knocks at your door, please help us help these kids. They want the technology, but then after that, two, we have the government, and we are very happy about the government, the CBC, as we all know. It entails so much. It has taken technology so serious that in every topic we have something to do with digital. But then after that, we don't have any computer engineer in Kenya. That is where we want to get. Not just giving them, do this. We want programmers. I have read about a blind programmer. I think he's a Chinese, I don't know. Yes, someone, what is the name? I can't remember. We have accountants. They are working with applications. We have a computer engineer. There is one called Melin, I don't know. So what about in Africa? What about in Kenya? So what am I saying? I'm saying even at the TVET level, let us have all these people support. Let us have the government legislate, the politicians legislate. Let us have this thing laid down. I don't know of any child, or any student in a TVET, a blind child, but the others are. But then blind child in TVET, who is doing computer or ICT or IT, it is not good. So in future, I want, as we are moving towards the sunset. So as we follow the sun, we want to be reading about a blind programmer, or someone with disability, who is a programmer, who is I don't know what, name them, those things under ICT.
Great.
So apart from here, let us move these things to other levels. So when President Ruto talks about public-private partnership, can we all hold hands? Can we all support in whichever way? So we are very, very, very grateful to all those that have held our hands, to all those that have held the hands of the organizations that are supporting people with disabilities, that are putting people with disabilities to move with a very fast-moving world. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Christine. So excellent closing words and an excellent vision of the future. And I think with that, we're able to view a video which will give you a brief summary of the work that's going on through inABLE at the various schools. And you are the first to see it, as well you should be.
English time, so our English books on, okay? So, today, we want to construct 8 sentences.
Thika School for the Blind is a visually impaired learning institute which takes care of learners who have got some vision problem.
We don't give them any special curriculum. It is the same education. So the main aim here is to equip them with necessary knowledge, skill, and attitudes that they need in life. In our last lesson, we talked about occupations and jobs people do. Getting Braille books is quite a big challenge. You cannot just go and buy a Braille book. You will not easily find them in the bookshop.
Getting information was a very difficult thing. Even reading the newspapers and so forth, it was a challenge because we could not access such information.
Very good. One clap for Teddy. Very good.
inABLE is an non-governmental organization which was started to provide accessible technology to learners who are visually impaired in Kenya. So the new technology is enabling our learners to get more information.
What am I holding here? A Chromebook. Yes. Why do you think we have brought in these Chromebooks?
To read online.
To read online, another use? You are all right. This is a tool that is gonna help you during your classwork. Are we together? Yes. Are we together?
Yes.
Are we happy?
Yes.
All right.
It has really opened the doors which had been closed. Information which had not been easier to get, we can get it. It has opened the information and taken care of things which we could not get access to before. It really matters to us. It's really a very, very important thing to us.
Are we together? Yes. Are we together? Yes. Very good.
Now, we are doing almost everything online.
It helps us in doing more activities.
We are able to get more information through searching.
In the books, if I'm looking for something, it takes time, but in the computer, I just type and find it.
Whenever the world is moving, everybody to take his or her part to ensure that also people with disability move with the world.
People with visual impairment, with the new technology, given the opportunity, they can do very well.
Thank you very much. I know we're short on time, so I think we won't go into any Q&A. If there are any questions, feel free to reach out to any of us and we will follow up.
Thank you very much. Let's give them another round of applause.